Hi, fellow musicians and music lovers. This is Sanji, also nicknamed Sandra D, and I'm Shawn. We are part of the musical collective Sacred and Secular, and we're also the duo of the Sheck-Tones. This is Under Consideration, a laid back, low budget web series. And if you're new to it, basically, we discuss music-related stuff that we have under consideration and/or that you should take under consideration. So, for this episode, we're discussing God's Country. If you're not familiar with it, it was released in 2019. There were three guys that I've never heard of who co-wrote it: Hardy, Jordan Schmidt, and Devin Dawson. I'm not sure that any of you will recognize him either. However, you probably recognize the gentleman who recorded it, which was Blake Shelton. So we, in a duo incarnation, and actually sometimes a trio incarnation of Sacred and Secular, we played it at jam sessions, and when we performed as a duo incarnation of Sacred and Secular in May 2021, in Excelsior Springs, which is across the line from Ray County, where we are, we included God's Country in our set. Did you find it difficult to learn, Sandra?
No, it was very easy once you learn. The pattern is no different than, say, the old rock and roll patterns, which, of course, once you learn those, what we call the ice cream chords. soda fountain, the old music that we knew and loved as kids growing up. The doo-wop is part of that, but it's a pattern that's pretty easy. 4 chords, 5 chords, maybe 3 chords. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go. I was making it more difficult when it's not.
Yeah. Now, one thing for guitar players out there is if you want to keep it in the same key as when Blake Shelton recorded it, it's C minor. I don't know that that's a familiar key as a keyboardist. I'm not sure that that's a familiar key for a lot of guitar players.
It's not really, but for accomplished guitar players that do bar chords and run chords up the neck, I'm just basically used to basic chords. C minor is one of those that it took me a little while to figure out. If I made a B minor, you go up 1 fret, and that's C minor.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah. Now, we ended up transposing it not just because of the key signature, but also it's. If you've had the chance to hear it, and I will post a link in the description to this episode where that you can see the music video. Let's see, now I lost my train of thought.
You were on the video of God's Country to
post a link to the music video.
Yeah, because of the fact that it's not only the difficulty of playing out of a C minor and knowing the other 2 chords that are in that progression. Singing can be difficult in a certain key.
Yes. And it was difficult for me. It's if you have the chance to listen to it, and again, I encourage you to do so. It goes from a low register to a higher register, but not this high, but kind of high. Especially if you have to belt it out, which you generally do. It's got a ginormous chorus, huge chorus. So we ended up, originally we were going to try it in A minor, which was a little low for me to sing, and we ended up going to B flat minor, which, again, if you're an accomplished guitar player,
would not be a problem, but I'm not, so I rely heavily on a capo, and you can perform miracles with a capo.
Amen.
I'm telling you, it's a great piece of instrument.
Yes.
Accessory to have, yes.
Yeah. So that's the tune that we hope that you'll have under consideration. It's For me, it was one of those songs. I actually can remember where I was when I first heard it. I was in my day job, which is as a sports editor for the Richmond News and its sister newspaper, the Excelsior Spring Standard. And I was, or actually that time it was strictly the Richmond News. And I was driving to Albany, Missouri, which is way up north of Ray County, to cover an 8-man football camp. And I think it was in July of 2019. And part of the reason I remember it is because of the song that was before it, which was It'll All Come Out of the Wash by Miranda Lambert, who you will recall is Blake Shelton's ex-wife. So it's kind of interesting that he had to follow her on the radio playlist. But it's one that resonates with me, especially after finding out more of the background of it and what Blake Shelton has said about it based on what I've seen on Wikipedia, where that he says that to him, the phrase God's country is not a specific place. It's basically wherever you go, that divine force is with you. And probably that, and just the way that he sells it in that big chorus, I get emotional when I listen to it. So, once again...
But that's music for you.
Yes, that's music for you.
Yes.
And so, our verdict is we'll probably continue to play it for live shows. Might be a while before we can record it, but we think you should seriously take it under consideration to give it a listen or listen to it again if you haven't. And that is all for now for Under Consideration. Once again, take care, stay safe, and if you're listening to this,
Peace out.
And peace out.